Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having a great day or night in Jesus. We're looking today on what is teleology. What is teleology? Design and purpose in nature. So thanks for being here. This is something I've taught for many years at Indiana Bible College, Science in the Bible, Christian Evidence. Today we're just going to use as kind of discussion starter, Creation versus Evolution by Dr. Arlo C. Molenpaugh, page 91. So let's get started here. What is teleology? The study of design and purpose in nature. I personally think when you do a deep dive into this is one of the biggest proofs for creation, and I really don't see any way around it. Some in the origins community, not necessarily Christian origins, are trying to use fetology, study of fetuses, but I still don't think it works. But let's get started here. So William Paley, 1743 to 1805, in his book Natural Theology, offered a strong argument for the truth of the Creator and his work. And that he did. He's the one that used the very famous illustration. If you find a Swiss watch in a marsh, you don't say, oh, it just suddenly appeared. No, you know that Swiss watch, somebody had intricate designs in that. And our bodies have intricate designs and then correlations within those designs. Just amazing. And so natural theology, you couldn't graduate Cambridge through the 1920s without reading Natural Theology by Paley. I've read a lot of it. It's really good. And so one example he gave was that of a man who crosses a field and finds two objects lying upon the ground, a watch and a stone. The finder immediately recognizes that nothing is unusual about the stone, but the watch is in a different category. Altogether, it displays planning and craftsmanship, beauty, and usefulness. So the watch clearly requires a watchmaker. This is the reason Dawkins, when he's trying to write against it, and what a writer he was, of course, John Lennox has totally dismantled him in a very nice, positive way in debates they've had over the course of time, but talks about the blind watchmaker, that it just happens, but it just can't happen. Because it's not just the design, it's the design of the pieces of the design you've got to get right too. So it's not just the fact that, like a reptile, let's say a lizard, but you've got intricacies within the lizard, that partial creation just doesn't work. A partial tongue, a partial nervous system, on and so forth. So Gary Parker used a similar example of someone strolling down a creek bed, finding a pebble of some interesting shape, then spotting an Indian arrowhead. Whereas time, chance, and erosion produced the pebble, it's obvious that natural processes do not form the sharp, angular chips of the arrowhead. B.J. Rangarathan uses the illustration of two people approaching a sandcastle on a beach. Both would agree that the sandcastle exists and would probably agree on most of the things that could be observed, such as color, size, and shape. They disagree on the origination of the castle. One believes someone made it, while the other thinks there's random forces of wind and waves. But obviously, intense, incredible organization requires an organizer. And so Ken Ham likes to use the example of Mount Rushmore. You've got rocks everywhere, but it's obvious that somebody with intent carved four faces on Mount Rushmore. And then Molenpaugh gives several examples. This is just one, literally probably into the millions. So the walnut shell is designed to preserve the meat and to provide seed for future trees. The strength to weight ratio is phenomenal. The shell is a rigid dome shape with a heavily corrugated surface and is made of very lightweight material. Its design of the walnut is a product of evolution, or is there a matter designer? There's a designer, obviously, because again, a partial shell, insufficient shell is not going to do anything. It's certainly not going to be passed down to the next generation as evolution would require. Earthworms are specially designed creatures. They provide food for birds and they burrow through the ground, making an important contribution to the fertilization, aeration, and drainage of the soil. Could its valuable work come about through mutations or natural selection in its struggle for existence, as evolutionists would propose? Or it's better to recognize the Creator designed and planned the earthworm in the beginning to be a servant of the plant world. And so again, this would be like the ecosystem, that everything just works together so perfectly. And if you just wouldn't skim over the top, if you really deeply consider these things, deeply meditate on these things, you're going to come to the conclusion that there's a Creator. They just did not happen by chance. He gives several more examples of a wombat, a penguin, a woodpecker, the giraffe, the tallest animal on earth, on and on. So teleology, design and purpose in nature, 100% shows us there's a Creator. And He loves you. He came in the form of His Son, Jesus Christ, to die for you. So He loves you, and He raised His own body from the dead. He's got victory over death. See you later. Check out our other videos. Subscribe. Please hit the bell notification. Share with your friends and family. Put it on your social media. See you later. Bye-bye.